this is Marika, and today we are here to deal on barriers of interpersonal relationship. In our previous sessions, we have discussed what interpersonal relationships are, what are the purposes of interpersonal relationship, what are the different dynamics, and what are the phases of interpersonal relationship, right? Today we are going to see what are the barriers in interpersonal relationship. So as discussed in the first unit, we know what barriers are, right? So what are barriers in interpersonal relationship? A barrier is an obstruction that prevents something from happening, right? So what are the barriers in IPR here? The barriers are things that does not let you develop a good interpersonal relationship. When something prevents you from establishing and developing a good relationship with one another, it is called as barrier of interpersonal relationship. The very first barrier in IPR is mistrust. So what is mistrust? Lack of trust in your partner, right? So for any relationship to work out, we need to have trust on one another, right? So when there's no trust between one another, when there's no trust between two people, the intrapersonal relationship cannot be developed. So the first barrier is mistrust. The second one is fear of rejection. So we all know what is rejection. So in fear of rejection, a person will have belief that your partner will not accept you for who you are, or your partner does not like who you are, and sooner or later your partner will reject you. Here, one person in the relationship will have a belief that her partner or his partner might not like the way he actually is or the way she actually is, and sooner or later the other partner will reject me. Okay, so this is called fear of rejection. This is also one of the barrier in developing and maintaining an interpersonal relationship. The third barrier is need for approval. So from the term itself, we can understand what need for approval means, right? You want your partner to approve everything that you do. Okay, so need of approval means the person will have belief that you need an ongoing approval from your partner. Okay, so you are very cautious, you are very aware about the way you talk, about the way you behave or you feel. Why are you very cautious? Because you don't want your partner to feel offended, or the person will have a fear of losing the approval from that person. So the person will remain very cautious about the way you feel, about the way you act, talk or behave, so that you don't offend your partner or so that you do not lose that approval from the partner. Okay, so in need for approval, you will always seek approval from your partner. You are always aware about how to behave, how to talk when you are with your partner, so that your partner does not get offended. Okay, the next one is insecurity. So from the term itself, we can understand what insecurity is, right? So here, the person will have belief that you cannot rely on yourself as well as on your partner to take care of you. Here, the person will think that I am not capable of taking care of myself, and also my partner will not be able to take care of me. Okay, this is a belief that the person will have. And in this, the person will always be worried, always be anxious about how my needs will be met. Okay. The next one is inflexibility. So what does the term inflexibility means? Inflexibility means unwillingness to change, right? You are sticking on to a rigid thought or rigid structure of something, right? Here, the person will have believed that my way is the only way or the best way for our relationship. It may be in terms of you communicate or you solve problems in relationship, right? So the way I am saying, the way I am trying to solve the problem is the best way to solve the problem that is between us. The way I am trying to communicate is the best way to communicate for both of us. Okay? So what happens? What happens when you are inflexible? Right? You're not willing to change your thoughts or your way of dealing with certain things. Here, what happens? So this person is holding on to a rigid structure, right? The person is not willing to change about the way the things must be in your relationship, right? Our relationship should be like this. We should solve our problems in such a way. We should communicate in such a way. So you hold on to a belief that my way is the best way possible for our relationship. Okay. So what happens when you are inflexible? Right? For any relationship, for example, in a friendship, when you are inflexible with one another, when you're not willing to change for one another, right? This creates problem between two people in the relationship. For any relationship, we have to be flexible for it to work out, right? So here the person will be inflexible, which is a barrier in developing and maintaining the relationship. Next one, we have lack of autonomy. What does the term autonomy means? The term autonomy means governing oneself or having a control on oneself. So here what happens is the person will believe that the partner should act, should behave, should think in the way I do. Okay. So here you are not giving autonomy to your partner. You want your partner to behave, feel and think like you do. So what happens when there is lack of autonomy? This does not allow the two individuals in a relationship to function as independent human beings, right? So here what is happening? One partner is taking control over other partner. The partner is not allowing the other person to have autonomy. Here she wants her partner to behave in the way she does or to act or think in the way she does. So here the partner will not get a chance to function as an individual person. Right? Next, we have lack of communication. So what is lack of communication? When you do not communicate enough with your partner. So here it means when active listening, being helpful or responding to your partner is missing in the relationship, right? So for any relationship, communication is a key factor for you to solve problems that you have between one another, right? Here, lack of communication will be there, which means the person is not ready to listen to the other partner, or the person is not ready to help the other partner, or not ready to listen to them or respond to them and solve problems within the relationship. So here there are two ways that lack of communication is seen. Okay, the first one is closed. Okay, so what does closed lack of communication means? It means it is only happening one way. That means there are two partners. One partner tries to communicate. It is only one of the partner who's trying to communicate, who's trying to talk and express his ideas, thoughts and feelings. Okay. And the second one is parallel. So what does parallel lack of communication means? It is talking side by side with no listening. So here the partner is only talking or only expressing one's feeling. For example, if there are two people in a relationship, so there are two different types of lack of communication. One is closed and another one is parallel. In closed, what happens? It is only one way. That means only one person is actually speaking, right? So there are two different types of lack of communication. Okay, what does closed lack of communication means? Here, it is only one of the partner who's trying to communicate or who's trying to listen to the other partner. Okay, it is closed, which means only one person is trying to initiate the conversation. Only one person is trying to maintain a communication between one another. The other partner is not ready to communicate, which means not ready to speak with the other partner, and also is not willing to participate in active listening. The next one is parallel lack of communication. So in parallel lack of communication, we see that there is talking side by side with no listening. The partners communicate with one another. They express their own thoughts and feelings with one another, but they are not ready to listen to what the other partner is expressing. Next, we have avoidance of conflict. So we all know in any kind of relationship, conflicts arises as you take your relationship forward in any relationship, right? Because these are two different human beings, right? It is two different human beings that are involved in the process of interpersonal relationships. So these two have uniqueness. They have different perception. Two different human beings will have different ways of thinking, perceiving things or communicating, right? So it is obvious that in some or the other way, there will be conflicts, right? But here what happens is the person will have belief that if you two never argue, fight or disagree on anything, the chances of having a long-lasting relationship is better. It is a belief of a person. Okay, the person, what will he believe? What will he or she believe? The person will believe that if we never argue, if we never fight, or if we never have any kind of disagreements in our relationship, this will make our relationship last longer. So that the person will start avoiding the conflicts. Okay, but the conflicts are not to be avoided, right? When there's any kind of conflicts, when there's any kind of disagreement, it is to be solved, right? You have to speak about it and what are the ways to solve those conflicts. But here what will happen? The person will try to totally avoid the conflict, thinking that if we don't disagree or if we don't fight, our relationship can last for a longer period of time. Okay? The next one is fear of intimacy. So what is fear of intimacy? Here, what happens is that the person will have believed that if your partner becomes very close with you, the person will come to know about your real feelings and the person will get to know your sensitive side. And if your partner gets to know about the sensitive part of you, or if the partner has the knowledge about the sensitive part of you, this knowledge will make you very vulnerable to being hurt. Okay? So what happens? The partner shy away from being too close with the other partner. Okay, so here let me summarize one more time. In fear of intimacy, what happens? The person will have believed that if I become very close with my partner, they'll come to know about the sensitive side of me or very human side of me, which will make me vulnerable to being hurt, right? That is why you shy away from being very close with the partner. Okay. Next we have irresponsible. So what is irresponsibility or irresponsible? Not being able to take a responsibility. So here what happens is, here the person will have believed that, okay, here the person will think that I have no responsibility or I have a very little responsibility towards my partner or towards maintaining this relationship. So when you don't take responsibility in maintaining a relationship, it is obviously hard to maintain the relationship and move forward, right? Next, we have low self-esteem. Now, what is low self-esteem? You're not confident about yourself, right? Here, what the person will believe? Here, the person will believe that I have no value, okay? I am worthless and I have nothing to offer in this relationship. So, in low self-esteem, because you are underconfident, you do not have that self-esteem, you will believe that I have nothing to offer in this relationship and I am worthless and I have no value. Okay, which is one of the barrier in interpersonal relationship. The next one is lack of healthy role models, right? So in our life as well, we have role models for different things. For example, I want to live my life in such a way like this particular person is living. She is my role model, right? I want to become a teacher like this particular teacher. She is my role model in teaching. So we have different kind of role models in different fields, right? We have different role models. Similarly here, in relationship, we need to have role models, right? Okay, I want my relationship to look like this. So we have role models in our life, right? For us to have a very healthy relationship, we obviously look up to someone's relationships, right? Okay, they have such a great relationship. I want a relationship like that, isn't it? But when there's lack of an appropriate example of what a healthy relationship is, we might not know what is normal in a relationship and what is not normal, right? When you don't have the idea of what normal is in relationship and what is not normal, or when you have lack of role models whom you look up to maintain your relationship, it might cause problems in your relationship, right? So lack of having healthy role models also is one of the barrier in interpersonal relationship. Next, we have lack of positive reinforcement. So what is reinforcement? Reinforcement is a process of strengthening something, right? Here what happens is that the person will have belief that you do not have to reinforce your partner for the good he or she got. You do not have to reinforce your partner for the good things that he or she is doing or saying. Okay, so here what happens? You will have a belief that even though my partner is doing something good or saying something good, I need not encourage that, right? We obviously, as human beings, we like when someone appreciates what we do. We like to get feedback for the good things that we do. That is a normal human nature, right? So when there's lack of reinforcement from your partner for anything good that you do or say, it causes problems in relationship. It is one of the barrier in relationship. Okay? The next one is over-dependence. So what is over-dependence? From the term itself, it is very understandable, right? You depend too much on someone. So here, the person will have belief that you are nothing incomplete or meaningless without your partner. That means you depend too much on your partner. You think that I am worthless, I don't have any value. Only when I am with my partner, I have a certain value. Without my partner, I am nothing or I am meaningless. So this person will have a belief like that. The person will have over dependence on the partner. Next, we have chronic depression. It is also one of the barrier of interpersonal relationship. Here, the person will have chronic state of melancholy about herself or himself and about life in general, which means you are sad about life yourself and your life in general. You do not have any kind of positivity towards life, right? So what happens when there is a chronic state of melancholy about yourself and your life? What happens? It will interfere with your appreciation towards your relationship and also your partner. You will not appreciate the relationship that you have with your partner, or you will not appreciate your partner because you are very sad about how you are or how your life is. Here, the person will have a chronic state of depression, which means being sad for herself, for the way she is, being underconfident about oneself and how her life is functioning. Next, we have avoidance of risk taking. So what happens here is that the person will feel or believe that it is better not to take risk at all rather than failing. Okay, it's better not to take risk rather than failing. In order for a relationship to grow, active risk taking by both the partner is essential. But here, one of the partner or both of the partner will have a belief that if I take a risk, I might fail. It is better not to take risk than failing after taking a risk, which is also one of the barriers of interpersonal relationship. As I said, for the relationship to work, both the partners have to take a risk for one another. So when there is avoidance of risk taking in any relationship, the relationship might not work out, right? So it is also one of the barriers in interpersonal relationship. So to conclude, today we have seen what are the different barriers that one can face while establishing and maintaining an interpersonal relationship. There are several different barriers that does not let your relationship move forward or grow. Right? In order to make sure that your relationship grows, we have to remove all of these barriers, right? There are techniques or methods to overcome these barriers. So in our next session, we will be seeing what are the methods or techniques through which we can overcome these barriers. Okay? I hope the class was helpful. See you all in the next session where we will discuss about the methods to overcome barriers. Thank you.